USA.
Fighting out of Anytown, USA, by way of Stockton, California. He is the culture war realist, rational individualist, the alpha with nostalgia. He's the hierarchy dominator, the USA crusader. He is the chief executive spacer.
Yo, you think you got enough names?
You shouldn't stop it. Almost done.
He is the man behind the United Spacers Alliance. Yeah! Ha 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 ha! And I know the Lord of the Core. I storage in the origin. I know the record like a tech nerd. I've got the hot takes for the bot fakes, and most importantly, I am never a victim. Welcome to the Phantom Menace 25th Anniversary Elite Commentary Stream. We're going to watch the movie together, you at home, and us on the panel are going to watch it, and we're just going to provide commentary. And we're talking about a panel that has a deep history of fandom in Star Wars. Most of us, if not all of us, were there on the premiere night of The Phantom Menace in 1999. I was for sure. 25 years ago. Pretty crazy to think that. So what we're going to do is we're going to greet the chat. And first I want to ask everyone to share the stream out there on all platforms. There are other channels tonight doing watch streams. We thought of the idea first. So you should be here. You should give your donations here, not to the other channels, guys. That's always going to be my position. Speaking of which, last week, if I didn't thank him profusely enough because I was pretty tired and pretty gone, if you know what I mean at that point, thanks to Eclay for the $20 donation. Tonight, though, we have the all-around arbiter tipping $5. Thank you very much, sir. You are a gentleman and a scholar. Can't thank you enough. That gets some of our favorite Wookiee. Thanks, all-around arbiter. So what we're going to do is we're going to greet the chat, get your DVDs ready if they're not already ready, whatever you're using to watch this. And again, the original 2001 release, still have it that many years later. I don't know what version that is. I didn't know there were that many different versions of the Phantom Menace other than the CGI redos they did on stuff like Yoda in the mid-2000s, but that's the one I'm going to watch. It's the one I have the most access to, and hopefully my my DVD player on my PC doesn't crash. It didn't cost $30. It came with the computer. It came with Windows, so let's hope that it actually works, guys. So we're going to have the panel on here. We're going to watch it. We're going to provide commentary, and you guys can chat it up. And that's the way it'll go. We're going to be off camera because we don't want any distractions. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see who we have with us. Again, share the link out there. Let's get the chat full, guys. There's the man himself, all-around arbiter. There is Justin, the Star Wars Marvel purist, a streamer in his own right, and someone that's going to be on the panel tonight. We've got Melissa Lord, first ever member of the channel. We've got Christopher Maynard saying howdy from New York City, the best sanctuary city in the world. Because guess what, guys? We say howdy here. Jordan France is with us, another panelist, OG Star Wars, top tier member of the channel. Rodimus Prime 21 is with us, asking a lot of good questions about the movie. Eclay's here, asking what version. We got Admiral Screed in the house. Mike Gassius. Soul Assassin, our mod, is in the house. Darth Prime is here. Elitists Unite. The Nuisance Bird saying, Caca! 25 and counting. You were 28 years old at the time. I was a little bit younger than that. The anticipation and excitement were intense and exhilarating. Saw it twice, and then with your then girlfriend Emily. Yeah, I saw it several times. I don't even remember how many times. R.I.P. Star Wars. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. Member of the channel is with us tonight. King Chris is in the house saying howdy. All right, I got to go ahead and get this link sent out. So make sure you guys have your movie set up. Right now, I'm on the 20th Century Spotlight Fox intro, and I'm 5 seconds in. I'm going to have a counter on the screen here. So that'll kind of help us stay in sync. And again, I hope my software doesn't crash, because you know how it is in 2024. You know how it is. There's only one thing you love more than Ewoks, Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, I made that X post last night on the cassette for Return of the Jedi, the soundtrack cassette, and I'm telling you, man, Parade of the Ewoks would bump on my system back in the day. I would like roll to Star Wars. I would bump it. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan just entered the conference room on me. Well, we're not going yet, Mike. So I'll tell you when we go. We're gonna bring the panel on, and then we're gonna get going here. Jagged in the house. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well. We're doing the 2001 DVD. Wow. Yeah, because that's all TNT would play. What, about 10 years ago? Something like that. That's all they would play. Let's see here. What's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing well here, and I'm excited for this. This is going to be fun.
Hell yeah, it is.
Yeah, so I'm tuning into another hotel place. I'm in their business center here, so
Nice.
the
That's
door.
going to be awkward. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care. They could come and watch with us, right?
Of course. We got someone else. We got someone else in back. Let's go ahead and bring him on in.
That's my dog.
We got Justin, the Star Wars Marvel purist, with us tonight.
Woo! Premiere episode, huh? First time ever on here with you, Tim. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I don't think you were on my only members panel ever about, I don't know, it wasn't quite a year ago. Might have been about 8 months ago. I don't think you were on that.
Nope.
And that thing got wild. I had to like put it on private. I'm like, this is too wild. You think Melvin's get wild? That night was like, all right, too many things were said that shouldn't have been said. So yeah, that thing's on private. So
You
I
gotta
don't know if
send
you
a copy
remember
of
that.
that. No, I don't.
Yeah.
You gotta send me a copy of that.
Yeah. It was something else. So, who else are we waiting for here?
Blake, right?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, he was
I don't know.
supposed to join us. He was asking for the link earlier.
Well,
You know,
yeah,
it's
but I
favorite
didn't
Star
plan on.
Wars.
What'd you say?
I said we know it's his favorite Star Wars, so
Yeah, exactly. He won't quit talking about it.
thought he'd be the first one in the backstage, you know?
Exactly. No, but I didn't plan on sending the link out until I went live, Blake. So I don't know where he is.
Excited. He's just overly excited, and yeah.
You know what though? He might be Qui-Gon. Gone. Like that, Qui-Gon.
There we go.
Qui-Gon.
Mm-hmm.
So is this it? Are you aware of anyone else joining?
No.
I guess this is it then. All right.
Yeah.
You're the host.
Because Rhino is sick.
Yeah, he's sick.
Right.
That's why. Yeah, I canceled my show, sent everyone a notice, and said, "But you guys can come watch me over here with all of us and have a great time watching some S tier Star Wars." Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like we got to ask. Someone's going to ask Rhino, "Why didn't you get the shot?" Right? Maybe you wouldn't be sick if you'd gotten the shot 4 years ago. So,
He's sick from all the Bad Batch.
Yeah, probably. I couldn't hack it.
that's funny. Well, working in the job that he does, interacting with all those different people, then you're probably pretty susceptible to getting sick. So take some tea with whatever your favorite hard liquor is, some lemon, some ginger, and just puke it all out, buddy, and you'll be fine.
It's all those women he has to. It's all those women he has to interact with on a daily basis.
Oh my gosh.
Makes him physically ill.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
All right. So, do all three of you have your? How are you going to watch it, Alora? And your?
I have it on my phone.
Wow.
Yeah, I have
Takes
on my
it everywhere
phone.
with her.
That's diehard.
Yeah, I have it on my phone and I have it on my computer here, my laptop, but I'm just trying to figure out how I want to go about it. Which one do I want to play?
That's dedication to the team.
Yes, it is. I was like, how am I going to do this? So, yeah.
We got another $5 from this time from Melissa Lord. The MP4 is loaded in VLC, ready to watch Tim. She didn't put a comma there, like addressing me, so she's saying she's ready to watch me. She's
just
ready
watching
to
you.
watch Tim. You got to put the comma after or before the name, Melissa. No, but thanks for the $5. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Chat, I hope you're ready. We got FuchNorris in the house. Hope you're doing well. Steezo for life. The Gatekeeper's Daimyo's here. I think those are all the new arrivals. So I'm ready to hit it. I've got it on 5 seconds. But guys, we don't have to be like 100% in sync. It can be a few seconds off, right?
Yeah, we
Because
can just
when
be the
we're-
Backstreet Boys. We don't have to be in sync.
Hey, speaking of them, did you see them in that video Alora shared?
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that.
I got to hunt that down because this next month I plan on rewatching the beginning, the making of the Phantom Menace, which is I'd say one of the top 5 Star Wars documentaries out there. And I want to see that too, that MTV thing. I'd never seen that before.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And that's why I shared it, because since we're getting ready to do this, I'm like, oh, and then they got to go to Skywalker Ranch to watch the Phantom Menace. Like, that would, oh my God, just imagine doing that.
Yeah, no, and yeah, I want to rewatch Fanboys as well.
They pulled out there's some pretty cool deleted scenes from Phantom Menace too, like the one of the water scene or whatever. I can't remember the specifics, but yeah, that shit looked pretty dope. I would have liked to see it in there.
Oh, the beginning is great.
Gatekeepers Daimyo member for 1 month. Glad to be a part of the community, and I wish I were drinking tonight, but I don't start drinking until Friday at 5 after work, whenever work ends. So can't wait. It's been a long week. Gonna get off work and have a few cold ones and something to eat. All right, guys, we're getting ready here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw this up here, and I have the same layout as earlier. So that's going to be up there. I'm going off camera. There's no sense in being on camera. And Alora, you need to get off camera because we don't want the chat distracted by your beauty.
Oh,
And
thank you for the compliment.
same with you, Blake. Same with you.
Yeah, with his hair, his luxurious hair.
Yes,
I'll take one for the team.
Exactly.
It's a compliment from a Native woman and to say that, you know, a Washington.
Oh, it is. It is, definitely.
Luxurious hair.
Yep.
I'll take it and I'll run with it.
There you go. I just want to scalp it. And I'm joking.
I don't know if that's true for Australian natives, but it is over here for sure. All right, so
don't start saying the word, please.
Don't start or start.
Don't.
Okay. Sounds good. So this is the timer, guys. This is where I'm at on mine, okay?
All sync up.
Now, there's also going to be a delay as well on YouTube. It's just the way that it is, especially with the fact that I'm using normal latency so that we can get better quality video. So when I say go, I'm actually not going to hit play on mine, and this is to the panel here, for maybe about, I don't know, 12 seconds.
Otherwise, Otherwise, when you hit play, I can type a 1 in the chat for everyone so they sort of know. Otherwise, then it's a bit synced up.
Yeah. So I'm going to wait 12 seconds before I hit play from 5 seconds already in. So I'm not going to count it out because that would be really dorky, but just kind of count to 12 in your head once I say go, and then hit play, and then we should be pretty close to being in sync with the chat. And again, share the stream out there, guys. We have tweets out there, retweet them, all that shit. All right, so go. I was in the theater and I remember this.
Fuck yeah, dude. I got badass those like metallic looking posters you got at Disneyland and shit off of Star Tours. I have one dark side, one light side posted up.
As soon as that music and the logo hit, like my theater like started cheering.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it. It was one of those experiences where all the trailers building up to it and then it's finally there. People were pretty amped.
Yeah. I mean, you hadn't had Star Wars in a theater unless you were like in Europe for the Ewok movies in, 17 years? 16 years? So. I think George usually knocked it out of the park on the opening scrolls.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And this is the first digital one. Like,
the way that they
back in the day.
Oh yeah, the way they made them was insane. Like if you read the archives books, it was a lot of work, believe it or not.
Yeah, just to get the timing right, where it wouldn't slow down in the middle and speed up. And now you could just have complete control of it.
It's funny because for all the criticism the CG gets, it holds up versus a lot of the sloppy shit they've been throwing out lately, especially.
Yeah, it's still a little smooth. It was back in that era where all the CGI, the textures and stuff were a little smooth still, but the movements, the designs, everything else still holds up, and the lighting as well. The lighting especially holds up because of how much reference they had to use.
Right. So that ship, the Republic diplomatic cruiser, it's really based on the gunship, whatever you want to call it, that they first used in the Marvel comics in the 70s, and Luke used it.
Right.
Carillion design, all that stuff. But this is a diplomatic cruiser, so it doesn't have as many guns on it.
Diplomatic immunity.
I always thought it was odd hearing a protocol droid that sounded more or feminine or whatever. That just, it was kind of weird, but it was kind of amusing and entertaining as well. So, and this is something different.
Sure, Tuscan Bob thinks they're all pretty feminine. I love that reveal as well of the Jedi taking off the hoods.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't know who they are, you kind of think you know who they are, and then...
Mm-hmm.
And even just thinking about it now, like they're just staring at a blue screen and everything else, all the backgrounds, everything's put in later, and how hard that was back then.
Yeah.
And then people say that this was like dull or not good performances by these guys, but working against a digital blue screen, that's a lot to consider.
Yeah.
But there still was a lot there. I mean, there's a lot more here in the Phantom Menace than there was in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, of the stuff they could work off. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I love about this one, is that to me it is the perfect blend of just the burgeoning CGI and the old practical.
Yeah.
I like the music here. This is when John Williams was still competent, and it has like a really mysterious feel to it.
Yeah. Kind of like a foreshadowing kind of sound effects to it.
I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised when they showed the Sith Lord this early in the film. It's like, here he is within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Make it legal.
But I mean, even the people who had problems with this movie, the one thing I don't think they could knock was the music.
Oh, yeah.
Or Ian McDermott, both his like dual roles.
Yeah.
The betrayal. And that's the badass moment too.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were saying in the commentary that was one of the only non-CGI effects in this entire sequence was that vent. Everything else they had to do something digitally to.
Right. This is a bad visual here. Badass visual.
Mm-hmm.
Soul Assassin's right. He's all you're going to be thinking about all the Plagueis parts when you're watching this, because me and Rhino were reviewing it. I'm like, okay, this is that.
Right.
Here's the blockade because of this. Here's what Palpatine did in the Senate to get that. Oh, man. It's so great.
Yep.
He's so fucking awesome.
I love this whole opening sequence.
Mm-hmm.
To me, this is the best opening action sequence in any Star Wars movie.
Hey, good thing that door isn't like someone's guts.
Stomach.
Right.
Yeah.
Close the blast doors.
I love how they do show how like powerful these weapons are, like cutting through steel like butter.
Yeah, like how he just shoved it right through with no effort.
Qui-Gon was a G. That's one thing. It would have been cool to have him around longer.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I didn't last long. And this part, these were the coolest. I was like, the fucking...
Oh, the droidekas? The droidekas?
Yeah.
Watch this. This.
Right.
I love that run as well. To me, this made Jedis look like superheroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember George in the interviews leading up to the film, you've never seen a full-powered Jedi until now, and he was excited about showing that to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Notice the color of their lightsabers.
Yep.
Not yellow.
No.
Yeah.
Such brilliant work, all this, the added digital elements, how they just blend seamlessly. Even these parts, like the projection there.
Mm-hmm. And they don't make all the Nemoidians, none of them look like the same, right? They make sure that they're all different and distinct.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they all have an individual characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
That and their looks.
Mm. And I mean, Padme goes through more wardrobe changes in this movie than Lady Gaga in about 10 concerts.
I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh my god.
Hey, that appeals to women.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It adds to like the regalness and the nobility of her
Right.
when she's Queen Amidala. I love this shot too. What is it?
Oh,
Thebe?
yeah. Yep, that's the name of the city.
Yeah.
There's the man.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm a couple seconds.
And George did very good introducing everyone in every movie as, you know, we started progressing, so we knew exactly what they were about and what's going to happen.
Yeah. I can't stand that character.
The one you think is like the sending the false messages.
That guy, he's like
Yeah.
the mayor or whatever of Theed.
Yeah.
So Bibble.
See, yeah, he's just a whiner. Like, shut up.
Yeah. Whiny old man.
Like, she doesn't get enough credit for this, I don't think, because she was older than Jake in it. But this is one of the best performances of a child actor in any movie, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
like following up her role as Matilda in Leon as well.
Yeah, and Leon. Yep.
Like, you can tell like a sort of a seasoned child actor next to a very new child actor as well.
Mm-hmm.
See, this whole sequence looks like a Star Wars shot.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it's a mix of CGI and models, but when it's going down through the trees, it just reminds you of Endor.
That's
Yeah,
what I was thinking.
The ship's designs were so cool. They had I don't know if you guys remember this, where they had a series out of the minis of made of metal.
Yeah.
Of all these ships.
Yeah.
Oh, they were so good.
And how he tried to make it look like they progressed, or they, you know, the models changed through the years
Yeah.
in Star Wars.
Well, and they're
almost like-
all totally different, you know. Like instead
like
of
a
hey, let's
pre-industrialized.
recycle, let's go ahead and make all new different ships and vehicles.
Like to put it real world, it was like I think they explained it like a pre-industrial revolution. So it was like all these things had a very unique look to them before, and then when the Empire came along, everything was like mass produced and factory made and bland and homogenous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too many, all the regulations started coming in, right? So handcuff
the
all
red
the
tape.
owners.
We just want to build things in spheres, giant spheres. And this is another one. It's like it goes back to like the Jedi, Return of the Jedi, like those speeders.
You're right.
Yeah, it looked real too.
Right.
I think it was.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same note played differently.
Mhm, right.
But for the time, the work on Jar Jar as well. It's so cutting edge.
Well,
And then
because
Yeah.
what they had to work with, yeah.
Yeah, and because of this, George did send someone from ILM to work on Golem for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
The Twin Tower or the Twin whatever.
Yeah,
The Two Towers.
Two Towers. I'll keep on saying Twin Towers. I don't know why I didn't say that.
Especially like the character interaction where you have them reacting to the ears that weren't really the ears like that there.
Now, in this scene, Ahsoka would just jump in and swim underwater for a half hour to the Gungan city.
Oh, yeah. Or she could breathe underwater, remember? Yeah, she could breathe underwater, survive it.
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have is the shot with Jar Jar jumping. Everything else, the animation's great for Jar Jar, but that shot, it's a little off.
Yeah.
Well, George wanted characters to be interesting to watch, like Yoda, like Jar Jar. So they added that kind of stuff in to say, hey, you know, it's funny to watch that, and
That's a gorgeous shot too.
Yeah.
Jar Jar is a playful character. We find out right now, really, that the rest of his species really isn't that playful, right? You think of, all Gungans are that way, and not really. Most of them are kind of like the serious type, but he's an outcast. That's the whole point.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I just mean with the animation as well. Like the movement was a little funky for.
Yeah.
The jump reminds me of like Looney Tunes, like though.
Yeah.
Like underwater type shit. Yeah.
These underwater shots I've always loved, like the arrival to the city. To me, it's because people make the joke it's a lot of sand in Star Wars. This was you're hitting like a whole new edge of the galaxy,
right?
Pun intended.
Yeah.
And it's just not another water planet too. They're going under the water. There's all this
and it's just
involved
part of
with under the water.
Yeah, but it's just like it's like Earth. Like it's you've got the above ground stuff, and if we had a different civilization here, they might build a underwater.
It's like Atlantis.
Yeah.
Right. And the core isn't all solid like we like Earth is with its molten core and stuff. This core is very different as well.
And I love the organicness of the technology. I think they said they grow these things, these like bubbles, these like things that the fields go around.
So are the Gungan? I'm relating to the Plagueis novel, but are the Gungans weapons then? Those are plasma, like plasma balls or whatever, like the plasma that they're harvesting from the
I think so. Yeah.
Planet.
I think so.
Well, they do harvest that kind of plasma from there, right? That's like why they are interested in Naboo, right? It's because of
it's clean energy, right? And then they set up the Trade Federation. They set up like shipping, and then mining companies come in and all that. Yeah,
right.
So Boss Nass is played by the legendary Brian Blessed, right? He was the Hawkman in Flash Gordon and many other roles. Great casting.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that. Oh, yeah.
I didn't until recently either. But now I can't unsee it.
Yeah, guys, if you've not seen Flash Gordon, the movie, 78, whatever year it was, you need to see it.
One of the best. And one of the, like, not that movie, but the Flash Gordon in general, one of the big influences on George.
Oh, yeah. The opening scrolls and everything.
George got a lot of backlash on those opening scrolls too, and he's like, I don't care. He even had to pay fines on the second time or third time he used it in the OT.
Yeah.
I love the story of how
they
didn't really have a role for Brian Blessed. He just sort of came in, and he was so entertaining with all these stories and everything. George was just like, this guy's going to be perfect for Boss Nass.
Yeah.
And it is brilliant work bringing that character to life with the animation.
Yeah.
Especially the distinctness it has from all the other Gungans.
Yep.
Yep. Well, it's the same thing. Like with the Nemoidians, yeah, they just make them all like totally look different. If it was Disney, they'd all be generic, and they'd all look 99% of them would all look the same, right?
And I love this sub design, like a manta ray.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even like the
The
propeller. on the
planet's
back.
cool.
Like the rotating tail.
Yeah, almost like a squid, like combination mana squid.
One of the legendary lines is coming up here.
Oh yeah, I love this sequence. This is one of my favorite sequences in the movie. Because I've said it before on streams, I think, but I'm a big fan of underwater stuff. And
Okay.
especially like this whole sequence, it reminded me of like old Aquaman comics and stuff.
Right.
And the creature design as well. Like first you get this one, and then you get this giant one that's just like a underwater Godzilla 98.
There's always a Mhm.
That we missed the biggest meme. The ability to make you speak doesn't make you intelligent. That's
Right,
the
people
number
got it in the
one on Twitter.
Dude, I love the Trade Federation ship. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They did such a great job as well of disguising Palpatine. Like if you didn't know
Yeah.
going into it, then
I was gonna ask,
Yeah.
did you guys know? Because like
I
if
didn't
you
know
didn't
going
know,
into it. No, because
I
I was
did.
a
Oh,
Star
yeah.
Wars fan as a kid.
I did.
So
My
I
mom didn't know. My sisters didn't know. My wife didn't know.
And here's the thing, there were theories like on the message boards around the time the movie came out. Maybe it's not him, maybe it's not Palpatine, maybe it's a clone, maybe it's a twin brother, all these crazy theories. And then they said only two there are, and there's like, oh, there are two of them then, you know, all kinds of theories like that. But that's what made it brilliant, that it was what it was. It's George isn't trying to pull like a swerve or anything like that.
Not more clones.
Right.
And you get another really cool one. Each one was, it's like just you wouldn't get like those designs of all those three in a big modern day movie now, really. Besides maybe Kong, and this you've got them in 3, and that's just sort of like in a throwaway scene. The work that went into it,
World building, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
Not
I
even
guess
a
it's
significant
supposed
part
to
of the
mirror
world,
that
but-
moonworm thing. Designed to like mirror the where they go into that asteroid and they find that moonworm. But I think this is cooler because it's underwater.
Yeah. Imagine mowing that grass.
Every day. You would be there every day.
on that lawnmower.
Luckily,
Great shot. Great shot.
Oh yeah.
Speed's awesome. Yeah.
And again, like the work of mixing miniatures, CGI, practical places, it all just blends seamlessly. And for the time, I mean, they were inventing all this stuff as they were going as well.
And it reminds me so much of Italy. I had a chance to stay up in the northern part of Italy where they shot
Venice, right here. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
That's exactly like Venice right there. See?
Oh yeah,
gondolas and everything, huh?
Yeah, the palace they filmed in was by itself. Like with it, you don't really need to dress it up. It just looks.
Oh yeah, I've seen
like
some beautiful architects. Yes,
timeless and
that's Keira
anywhere.
Knightley right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not Natalie Portman.
So she didn't have to go through as many wardrobe changes.
Process them.
I love how useless the droids are.
yeah.
They just these fucking spindly little arms. They can barely walk.
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah.
And statues like there, it's like Greece, right?
Hmm.
Ancient Greece.
You can see a lot of cultural influences that
Mhm.
made Star Wars amazing.
Oh yeah. All through mythology. More Jedi's in action.
Yeah, kicking ass.
Yeah.
I did love how dynamic they are. Like, because one of my
Yeah.
like in
Love
the
the
earlier
force push,
movies,
effortless.
yeah, you
Mhm.
get to see more of the powers unleashed.
Remember in the theaters too how people were acting to this, even this part here, because they were like, "Holy
Yeah.
shit, Jedi," and seeing more capabilities.
Won't be a problem. We're badasses.
Yeah. There's Natalie right there.
Mm-hmm.
To the right.
It's smart writing too. Oh, here, take my handmaiden so she can go and speak for me, but I'm going to stay with my people.
That's right. That's Padme Naberry right there.
Mm-hmm.
Amidala.
That could be her name, or she would have been outed.
And those are the same doors Maul's coming through later on too.
Yep,
Right.
Yep.
Back
Poetry.
then, just reuse it. Don't have to add it in digitally again if you can just reuse it.
Yeah. What was that? It was like the Jackie Chan double kick.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's how I giggled. So, whoa.
Lots more close-up shots than I remembered, like in all these early battles.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I guess it was easier to film the droids and make it look believable that way.
You know, I think the last few times I watched this was on DVD because I originally had like the DVDs, but now I have the Blu-ray. A lot fucking cleaner.
Yeah.
Wow,
Rick
imagine.
Oley stating the obvious.
Mhm.
Wouldn't matter now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Disney said that doesn't matter. They were to hit hyperspace already in atmosphere.
They would have light speed skipped, right?
Yeah.
How rude.
R2D2 the asshole.
He's going to be the one that now has the container for the show.
Yeah.
Drink out of his head and take popcorn
For
out
only
of
$49.99.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
I would not do that.
No.
Flight of the Navigator. Oh yeah, Clay Thomason. Old school shit.
Yeah, it does have a very similar look to the ship. How
Yeah.
shiny it is.
They're out of the gravity well.
Yeah.
Not enough power to get to Coruscant. Wow. Controlled by the Hutts. And right now, Gardula and Jabba are battling for control of Tatooine right around now.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the Han Solo trilogy. He basically killed his nephew or something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty ruthless, huh?
Here it
Could have
is.
been worse. He could have been eaten. Pizza got eaten. I love
Darth
this
Maul.
reveal. This is another one of the. This movie has such great reveals.
Right.
Yeah.
And there they are. There's the two. Two of them.
Oh, damn.
Meme City.
Right. Memes don't mean the show or the movie's bad. It just means that, something epic happened. And
Yeah.
It means it's in the zeitgeist more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Start of a wonderful story.
Yeah.
I love that bitch move. It's like, I'm your decoy, but I'm gonna make you clean.
Yeah, she just told her fucking queen, her royal highness, to go clean up a fucking droid.
Yeah. Two other handmaidens
Clean
stand next
out.
to me,
Yeah, they had to make it look like she wasn't her, though.
Mm. I like Qui-Gon knows, but the building of bridges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The connections being established.
Is that like a Yeti cooler right there?
Where?
It's kind of off to the left now.
Oh, okay. He's like Yeti. That's where they got it from.
Yeah, somebody's slamming like Steve Weisers in the repair bay.
They're like, shit, the Queen's here. Another practical mixed in. The dust there's all practical.
Oh, yeah.
Now we get Hobo Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
All he needed when he was walking off, there's the stick over the shoulder with the sheet wrapped around it, the bindle.
Mm-hmm.
Quinlan Voss sighting coming up too, right?
Right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's very interesting how Jan and John picked him out of the scenes.
Right.
Yeah. And give him a whole backstory and everything.
And then Ayla, too, who was used in the second episode, 2.
Yep.
Right. And then Aura Singh, isn't she like a sniper up in during the pod racing too?
Mm-hmm.
R2D2 just rolls straight through the shit. Then Jar Jar steps in it.
I love that music you can hear in the background. That's good atmosphere. Gives the spaceport a lived-in feel.
Yeah. And I like how they're not going to the same one. It's Mos Espa.
Right.
It's like we give you a glimpse at somewhere else. Like, obviously now that'd just be straight back in where, but that'd be in like Anakin's hut still 40 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a Trodarian.
This is an excellent part where George likes to make everything look worn and used and stuff, and this is like one of those excellent scenes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The work that goes in, and like 85% of it's never going to be seen on screen, but because it's there, it builds the world and
Right.
helps the actors get acclimatized to it, and
Immersed and all that. Yeah.
yeah, and it helps build the world just by the people thinking about how they're designing it.
Mm-hmm.
And him nitpicking everything too, like when they were coming up with Grievous and all. I love the Revenge of the Sith. Like I love the making of on this one too, but like all the people just for the Mustafar battle and singe marks on the robe. I think that didn't Anakin have like 15 or 20 different robes that he wore, and they changed it to the different parts of the battle to progress.
Oh yeah,
the burning
and then
Yeah.
and then his makeup too. Yeah.
So this exchange right here, I just wonder sometimes, do these people ever talk to kids? Because that's how kids talk, right? Like kids say kind of stupid shit, like he's saying right now.
Very
like
innocent and stupid, very, very innocent.
Yeah.
Very real. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, all that dialogue was dumb. Well, he's not like a 30-year-old professor. He's like a 9-year-old boy. You know what I mean?
Right. He's a slave kid.
No education, really.
Yeah.
Well, that's my whole thing with Anakin in Attack of the Clones too. So he's supposed to be spitting game. He was a slave kid, and then he grew up in a Jedi, like being trained by the Jedi. Like how he doesn't have no experience with women. He's supposed to be awkward.
Well, Jedi's supposed to have any experience with women per se.
Yeah. And that's why he's awkward.
No, they won't.
What do you think? You're some sort of a Jedi?
I love that it didn't work.
And it's good. He nerfed the Jedi, instead of them just being superheroes. To solve the problem.
Well, then it also brings shares how certain species don't succumb to Jedi mind tricks and other force.
Yeah, the different physiology and anatomies of these species that, not everything's going to work. It's like if, like Sebulba, how Sebulba can, pod race better than most people.
Right.
Spin move.
Yeah. Just like in Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yeah. That's where they got it from.
I liked how they added Palpatine being able to pod race too. So then when he meets Anakin, obviously that adds to that lore because he knows this kid won a pod race, and humans aren't supposed to even be able to race in them.
Reminisce about their old days, drag racing hot rods.
Right. Qui-Gon's getting ready to shave his legs here.
Did you? Yeah, I was gonna say. Did you know that it's a razor?
Yep.
Pimps out Jar Jar.
It's like a modified Motorola flip phone or something.
Get ready to look for Quinlan Voss here, right?
Right. We're coming up on that.
That thing's ugly as fuck.
There he is.
Right. I was gonna say.
He's behind that pole. There he is.
I'm behind you guys.
Introduce the production of Sebulba.
Just a couple seconds. A very mean Doug.
So here's what I'm observing here. Like
Okay.
Liam Neeson is like an anchor in this movie.
Mhm.
You know, you've got Jar Jar, and then you've got Anakin, but he's there the whole time. Liam Neeson is as Qui-Gon to just bring everything back to like a based reality in all these
Yeah.
different scenes, and I think that's brilliant.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the professional actor.
Yeah,
Not to say that, and even at that stage in her career, Natalie Portman was very talented, but Liam Neeson was like, you know, the Alec Guinness stand-in.
yeah,
And the other thing that I noticed about through all this scene is how much of it they're actually filming on location, like the natural effects, like the wind and everything. Like you can actually see it, whereas a lot of the other ones that they've filmed since, it's all on a stage. Or now that they've fallen in love with that volume, you don't get a
Right.
lot of that natural look to it.
that's
The
true.
clothes interacting with the
There's
environment.
no
the air.
organic. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no organics. Yeah.
And I love how George like found this location like way back when he was there originally, and he was like, I really want to use this place. It's I think it's a hotel or something now.
Yeah, it's Shmi the Stunner.
Greg's favorite part
Yeah, right.
where we
Yeah.
meet C-3PO.
This is when they'll pop up. Watch.
He's naked, 3PO too, so he
Yeah.
really likes that.
Greg's like, why couldn't they have just left this thing there forever? Turned off, laying on like a slab somewhere, not finished.
Yeah, I'll bet you Anthony Daniels loved this role because he didn't have to go into the suit and all that. He could just do the
Yeah.
voice. He probably did some motion capture, I would assume. I can't
don't
remember
think
to
so.
be honest.
I believe it was all practical, the top half, and they used Japanese puppet just techniques that they use in like Japanese puppets, where like the
Okay.
person's sort of underneath them or controlling them, and then they had to go in and digitally change paint over it or rotoscope over it, because originally he was only in a couple of shots, but then George kept increasing the amount of shots. So what they thought was originally very tedious but quick work turned into
Uh-huh.
tedious and long work. But I don't know if back then, I don't think they did have much in the way of mocapping things.
Right. There's that Gillette razor.
Coruscant. That looks
Oh,
cool.
look
This
at that.
scene right here is just
Yeah.
legendary.
Right. Coruscant, another EU reference.
Yep.
Another beautiful mix. I think they used a lot of matte paintings as well for Coruscant back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
the early stuff, and it just looks so good.
It paid. Yeah, it paid out. That's like what? Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, where they did a lot of matte painting too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, big time
Throughout
in
everything.
Return of the
Mhm.
Jedi.
Right.
The shield generator and
Mm-hmm.
the hangar on the Mon Calamari cruiser, and
And by the time they got to this one, they could just do so much more with the adding almost another layer over it with the animation and things flying past on
And
sort
clean
of
it up a little bit more.
predetermined. Yeah.
Malastare, isn't that an EU reference too? Or is the Malastare from George?
no, I think they made it up for this movie. I don't think it was mentioned anywhere else.
Beforehand? Okay.
Yeah,
That's- I
because
never-
there wasn't like a prequel novel to this like there was the other two prequel movies, right?
Mhm.
There was just the novelization.
Did you read the novelization before this came out or no?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, but
No.
I did. I went and I got the graphic novel for AOTC and Revenge of the Sith. I got like full spoilers.
I read up until they got back to Naboo, so because I didn't want to know the ending, but I had read up until then, after the pod race and all that, and after they got left Coruscant.
Yeah.
I still to this day haven't read it. I got to get on that. I got a copy.
It was good.
I'm returning it though. It's kind of a shitty copy, so I'm sending it back to them. They had a bunch of them, so I'm gonna fucking roll the dice and just return it for free and get another one. Now, did they release all the different covers, or was there an original cover release? I can't remember back then.
Oh, they
As I
released
remember
them all.
Yeah,
It was
because
all of them, right?
Yeah.
I had the Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon one, and then I knew people had the Darth Maul, Palpatine one, and then there was the Padme and Anakin one, I think. Oh no, Padme and might have been Jar Jar.
We should point out that this scene right here is amazing, and I think this is probably Jake Lloyd's best performance in this film. I think it is full of emotion, and it's just good.
And this is a very long scene for a kid, and he's doing a lot of the dialogue work in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Liam Neeson sort of just sitting back casually, acting quietly, but yeah, this would have been a nightmare to film for it because I Jake Lloyd wasn't very experienced back then,
Right.
and to have like a green kid put that sort of a work on his shoulders, that's a lot, and that's a big risk.
Yeah. Well, he's seen something in him, and how many kids that were interviewed? Like 300.
Yeah, I think it was more.
Well, just the line about, are you here to free the slaves and stuff? It shows, hey, this is a little kid, but at least he's thinking like, well, gosh, it is a Jedi. Why isn't he doing this? You know
Right.
what I mean?
That's from the
Like,
lore.
we
he
need
heard.
help. And that's, to me, that's one of the biggest sliding doors moments in this is
Mhm.
Qui-Gon later on when he can't secure the release of Anakin's mother. Because
Yeah.
you think, if things went differently and she got to go and, maybe live on Coruscant with Anakin or something, things could have been very different in the universe.
Right.
Although there could have been a lot of accidents on Coruscant too.
Yeah.
Well, Qui-Gon was able to get Shmi's freedom, but that's in the EU part of the lore. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Even little simple shots like just showing the hologram off that.
The holograms are really awesome in this.
Mm. Yeah, see, Qui-Gon should have pushed harder.
I like how this music kicks in and when he starts coming up with the deal too.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Even simple things like that, how Qui-Gon and Watto like change sides of the frame. They Qui-Gon walks behind him, interacting like that in a frame for the time as those animators when George was saying like, yeah, I want to just see him have them cross over the animators. John Knoll would have been sitting there going, oh my God, please stop, George, please stop. Is that Obi-Wan's Gillette?
Yeah.
He does. Or he did.
Yeah. That's why I love Qui-Gon as a Jedi, because he's not completely by the book. He'll do some things if he knows it's for the greater good.
He's an iconoclast.
Mm. And that's the other sliding door moment. Could have been a lot different. Like if he survived, how different Anakin could have turned out.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon the libertarian, right?
Yeah.
You remember all the people speculating about Qui-Gon and Shmi too?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Wait until some scenes later.
Yeah.
Get the shippers involved.
I think it's cool out on the Sith Lord too, because he's like, oh, the Jedi, we would have identified him younger. The Sith want them to be older because you're more scarred, and you know, you tend to have more, you know, evil in you later on in life as reality sets in, versus being an innocent kid.
Is Pernilla August from Scandinavia?
Yeah.
Is she Swedish?
She's Swedish, yes.
Okay.
Just imagine that cutout scene where him and was it supposed to be Greedo or whatever fighting?
Yeah.
I like how they built these all practically, a lot of these races, and then I think most of them got destroyed except one of them.
They did in the
huge
storm.
they had, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Huh. This is like, for me, the only thing I actually thought was funny that he did.
Yeah.
When he's like trying to talk, it's like you go to the dentist, you know?
Oh yeah.
I love how they use the shots of the hands too. Like it's actual what's his name? Ahmed Best in the suit. Just his hand. That's just the suit hand. They didn't need to do anything to it.
Right.
Because that suit was like $100,000 or something.
Oh yeah, that's what they were talking about too, and how they were concerned he damaged it. George's like, I don't care, we're gonna make it look real.
Yeah, very expensive lighting reference, but it works. And when you can cheat some shots like that, that's pretty good.
Breaking the third wall. Here's the line. Huh.
It's working.
And here's when some people start whining about the movie, right? Midichlorians, oh my god.
Yeah, as someone who wasn't a Star Wars fan, like I just thought this, that seems okay. That seems like it's logical.
How did you guys feel about hearing about the midichlorians the first time?
Well, I mean, this is an order that is 25,000 years old. Do you think that they're really just like wizards and sorcerers and stuff? No, they're not. So it totally made sense. And George had this idea from the beginning, right? Right. Mm-hmm. From the he just didn't reveal it to the public in any of the productions. So they act like he pulled it out of his ass, and he didn't. Mm-hmm. It was always one of the concepts. And these are Jedi, right? At their peak, when the Order was at full power, of course they're doing stuff like this. Plus, if you look at the expanded universe, remember that paddle machine that they found on Coruscant, and then they went around identifying potential Jedi to join the Academy? Yeah. It's like, maybe that's what it was. It was like a midi-chlorian detector.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had
like
no
a
problem
high
with
count.
It. I think it adds to the lore. It didn't get into the, I mean, obviously the EU and the books did, but I mean, the actual movies, they don't get too deep into the scientific theories behind it or anything like that.
Another badass ship. I love that interceptor.
You know where he got it?
No.
Oh, that was pretty cool too, for seeing those.
That's the scimitar, right? Is that the back of the scimitar or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got the scimitar from Plagueis too, but it was built by Tenebris. They add the lore for that. And...
Yep.
I know it's still freshly in your head too, because you guys reviewed Plagueis.
Yeah, well, we were gonna finish tonight, but yeah, so it's like really fresh in my head because I was cutting some clips to try to.
I want a massage from two blue Twi'lek chicks in see-through clothing.
I bet you do.
Fishnet.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, this is the trope, like Sebulba sabotaging the race. That's like a racing movie trope too, you know?
Right. Well,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what George was about. He loved his cars. He loved the race.
Yep.
I'm just surprised he didn't make a bunch of Vespas to run on the track.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, Ben Burt does a great job with these alien languages that he
Yeah.
invented.
Oh, he's a huge unsung hero.
Oh, yeah. And he's one of the people that said he got treated like shit once Disney acquired Lucasfilm, too.
Yeah, and I don't mean in the past an unsung hero, because I think he was always very well celebrated by the fan base, but nowadays unsung.
Yep.
Like just the amount of detail you hear him go into, like finding sound effects from like 20 years ago, saving them, and he's like, this will work perfectly here, and the thought he puts into it.
Right.
Look at those two spacemen just walking down the street.
It's how ILM was born.
And
There's
see,
another
that's because
spaceman.
it's totally different than the Viper droids that Vader uses in Empire, right? They're like totally different.
Yeah, good point.
Just imagine
This
seeing
is badass.
More
right.
Yeah.
Like seeing the actual model of this when they're working on it, and then looking at it, the scale of it, and looking at it here, and how it looks so real.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they call a lot of these things miniatures, but some of them are like, 8 feet, 10 feet long.
Right. The detail.
Yeah.
All that.
I think they renamed that into bigatures, I think, around the time Lord of the Rings came out, because they were making ones that were so intricate and so huge.
Prima donna.
Yeah. Like, you want to talk about diversity on screen. This is the diversity on screen.
Yeah, exactly.
In a sci-fi alien movie. It's like all corners of the galaxy and the universe, not just fucking, we want to see more Asians.
And they didn't throw a couple in there just because people were complaining just recently. Yeah, they were just naturally in the movie all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's more creativity. It's like you're building a world. You're not just recreating reality and slapping a new Star Wars logo on it.
That's why I don't get the people that criticize that. I mean, I just don't get it. He could have done the easy thing and just made a copy of the original and just made it in a different time period and have the same bait. But he took a lot of big risks making this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he would have done it on the third trilogy if he would have done it, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I meant.
And the fourth trilogy that he talked about in the late 70s.
You just think about like what could have been with a third trilogy from George and the different sort of techniques and technologies he could have used. Like, I don't think he would have fell in love with the Void as much as everyone else has.
I think it would be very handicapped, very like not useful, and block more creativity than anything else for George.
I think he
would
would
have kind of been restraining him kind of a little bit on what he could do.
I think he would have had like a big almost fallback into the old days and the old ways to make it the practical way.
Yeah.
Because he got so much shit for the CGI. I think he might have really sort of just fallen backwards completely onto the old ways. Could have been good or bad, but it would have been his. That's the main point.
Are there any like official story treatments that he had out for the third season? Because I've heard like the Maul Talon one, but I also heard the midichlorian will, like the race of the wills and the midichlorians and all that.
I'm not too sure. I wouldn't know.
I don't know if there are any official ones, but there were ideas that have been revealed and stuff, but until it's on film, it doesn't really matter, because he changed his mind on Empire Strikes Back.
True.
Like, shit, up until a few months before they filmed, it was a vastly different story. Like, insanely different. So, like, Han was going to go on a mission to find either his father or his uncle that was in charge of this, criminal empire and all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, I love all
this is awesome.
He's got a lot of little like Buster Keaton and Three Stooges references in with a lot of these little pit droids.
Yeah.
And like for the 1999, seeing this, an entirely computer generated scene for, I think George wanted it was originally going to be like 14 minutes, but when they cut it down, just the work that went into this, John Knoll, I think, is one of the real saviors. Well, not the savior, but the real heroes of this sequence.
There was Warwick Davis.
Yeah. One of his multiple roles. To me, he was always the one that was going to take over from George. It was I always thought it was going to be John Knoll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think making Photoshop, I think, I don't think he needs to work anymore.
Him and not some faggot in a cowboy hat.
Yeah. That would be ideal.
Although, wasn't John Knoll responsible for the Rogue One script? Or at least
the original one, I think, yeah. I don't know how much they changed it by the time the screenplay came around.
I think they made it more centered around Jenner. So I think before it was more of a team of different, like all the people.
Yeah.
So there's Aura seeing
There's Aura
with that ass, but Star Wars has always done a good job of portraying speed realistically. Like, you feel the speed here.
Yeah.
You felt it in the trench run on the Death Star. You felt it in the forest, right? On the speeder bikes on Endor.
Yeah. These front-on shots, especially like the POV shots of the pod racer, especially, like it's rocketing along, and you can feel like these ones here, like through the canyons and through the cave.
Yeah, Beggar's Canyon.
Look at that! It feels fast.
Yeah, I think they like in the lore they said the pod racers were like Anakin was the fastest, and he was going like 538 miles per hour or something like that. Like in the lore, like if you were gonna give an estimate of the speed.
Yeah. I remember my theater in May of '99 laughed after the Tuscans took the shots and were like raising their rifles above their heads.
Yeah.
And for how fast they're going, there's a reason why like only humans who are force sensitive can stand that type of speed.
And it's,
Yeah.
like the way they did it
He's
in
speaking Spanish there. Que pasa, que pasa, que pasa, que pasa.
the way they did it in like Empire and Return of the Jedi, especially with those speeders through the on Endor.
Yeah.
The this was like a huge step up.
Yeah. I still love those indoor scenes. That shit is great.
Oh yeah, I do too. But I think originally they were like how they were originally thinking about shooting these scenes. They're going to try and do like helicopter plates and stuff, but there's just no way you can get that close to the ground the way these things are and get realistic speed because you just wouldn't be able to see it.
Right.
And doing this like all completely digital is mind-blowing, not just for the time. Even now this would be a very difficult scene to do.
Yeah, the casting, the shadows, everything, all the work behind this here. The
Even
blur
just the background,
of the scenes, the background,
and that's one of the other things they wanted is just a completely alien landscape, and you can't, like, unless you're doing it digitally, you can't find something like this on Earth that you're going to be able to film like this.
Whoa.
The Beggars. Another thing, that reference between his father, Luke, and his father.
Yeah.
Always cheating.
And that chase in Shadows of the Empire too, with Luke and Jabba's minions was pretty good too.
And I love when he gets into trouble here because he has an actual, like, you know, it's not just a bypass the compressor sort of solution. It's I'm going to get myself out of this with a practical way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actual know-how and skill to catch that and then reattach it.
In such a high capacity speed.
Oh yeah. But it's just another one. Like Star Wars has always been famous for it's the tech in it and how these things work and the thought that goes into it.
Yes.
And it's just one of those things that these pod races, the pod races themselves are actual amazing feats of engineering. Like I know they don't exist, but if they did, they would be insane.
Yeah, and that's the whole Oscar thing is always bullshit anyway, but that was supreme bullshit. And I'm one of those people that just doesn't like The Matrix, even the first one. I just thought it was so overrated.
Oh, as a guy from Sydney, I love The Matrix. that's us doing it proud. But no, I do believe this movie should have won. It has so much variance. Like there's shots in here that you don't even think a CGI shot or visual effects shots, and they're, you know, probably weeks and weeks of work. They're the more harder shots, the invisible CGI they call it, compared to what they had to do in The Matrix, which was a lot of the repeated effects more than this one was.
Right.
But both were great, especially for the time.
Whoa.
Because I mean, just shots like these shots of the crowd and Qui-Gon and everyone on the pods. It's just that's all visual effects that, you know, back then the people voting didn't even realize.
Right.
I mean, they still don't now with things like
Don, these sounds and stuff. It's how it all comes together. It's just amazing. This right here is from the teaser trailer. You know, going through all those holes in the rock.
Yeah, through the needle and all that.
Yeah.
Well, that's what as we were saying before, Ben Burt, like an unsung hero nowadays.
Oh yeah.
How late, like people give the score a lot of credit in Star Wars, but the actual sound design of the movie itself is so incredibly laid and detailed. And it's not just, like you could do that and it doesn't work. It does it and it works to sell this alien tech.
Yeah. Well, look at even the tech right here where it shows like he's having problems and stuff. There's a lot of thought. Like all of this, like every single little detail that he's going through right here.
I think this was Ron Howard's idea as well, to extend this sequence out, like adding more cutaway shots and more of the dashboard and things to extend it out, to add that drama of Anakin's falling further behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This had to be like a Thor in Hollywood's ass too, because George was independent. Doing all these breakthroughs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. And doing it successfully.
Right.
Oh, I love the ramming here.
Oh yeah, the ramming. You love the ramming.
Ramming.
It's classic. Just side by side. It reminds you like Smokey and the Bandit or something like that.
Grease.
Yeah. American Graffiti.
Yeah. Anakin and Sebulba are racing for pink slips.
Yeah.
Oof. Damn.
And they do it visually. Like you see, like you've got to work out yourself. How did Anakin get away there? It's not like they're telling you. Like Anakin's got dialogue where he's like, "I've got to do this. I've got to do that." It's just like they show it visually.
Mm-hmm. Look at him, he's all pissed. For Watto.
Jabba didn't care about the race.
No.
So that's supposed to be Gardula in the background behind him, or what?
Yeah. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Mm-hmm.
Half blackface Anakin.
No.
There was diversity
We'll
going
talk
on.
about after rewatching this.
Mm-hmm.
Told you about that, George Lucas.
Poor Watto's all pissed now. Like a...
Gamblers never win.
That's hilarious. Not a fair bet. Like the odds were totally stacked in his favor.
Yeah.
But that's an IOP, right?
The EOP?
Yeah.
What a great line about the pathetic life form.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Everybody tried to use it against, like, Obi-Wan didn't really like Anakin at all and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He didn't even know him at that point. Yeah.
No. He's just using it in general.
I was like, at least it's not another fucking Gungan.
Mama already knows.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
I always think that she was so force sensitive too, but that's just my theory. I don't know. We'll never know.
You know, and you kind of wonder, like, is Qui-Gon really that upset that she wasn't freed either? Because then that removes the attachment, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Qui-Gon's like, look, Anakin, I just banged her. I want to get her far away from her as possible.
Yeah.
One and done.
Yeah, she'll know who the father is this time.
Right.
Yeah, and it won't be, what's his name? Mr. Lars.
Oh yeah. Bars.
Clegg Lars.
Mm-hmm.
She's very good in all the scenes she has, Vanilla.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a lot of scenes in it, but every one of them, she is very good.
I remember reading in magazines and stuff leading up to the film that she was mean, and that's part of why Anakin goes dark. Well, that turned out to be bullshit.
Oh. They wanted to have an abusive mom to have some reason for Anakin to go dark.
Yeah, because some of the shots they had in the magazines, she had like a mad look on her face, and you know, I'll have to dig through these magazines I have and see if any of that's in there. But I remember reading that for sure. This is hilarious. He's like, "See you later, 3PO."
Yeah. Fuck you, dude.
Help my mom out. Sorry I couldn't get your fucking clothes.
That's why.
dude.
Yeah.
All right, I didn't get to
That's
finish
why.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why Anakin's mum looks pissed. She's like, I've got stuck with this retard robot.
It's a pretty big hut for a slave, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no shit.
Such a cool location.
Yeah.
Apart from the storms that apparently go through there, but everything else seems great.
Some of the original concept for Mos Espa was it being up against a cliff and they were living in like cliff dwellers and stuff. That's one of George's ideas for that area, but it didn't pan out.
Hunting little penguin things and drinking blue milk. Titty milk.
Yeah.
Blue titty milk. The Phantom milk.
Not for a few years anyway.
Yeah.
$10
And they had that poster, right, with the Vader shadow. That was an original one too, right? Where he's walking
Yep.
with the shadow on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great poster.
Yeah. So it was like minimal, but it had so much.
Yes.
Well, you
very
know-
minimalistic, but it was told a great story.
It was inspired from a Star Wars Galaxy card years before, where there's like concept art of younger Anakin, like not younger, but like adult younger Anakin, and then the shadow is Vader on the wall. I'll have to dig it up and show you guys.
I don't think I remember that one, but
So my
I'll show you
theater
guys.
blew up when this shit happened, dude. Obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Did.
Oh yeah.
Well, this is like the first interaction in what? How long? Of a Jedi and a
900 and
A
fucking
1,000
50
years.
or something.
Yeah.
and it's a cool one. And in the it's extended in the novelization. I do remember that. I don't remember a lot of the
Yes.
differences,
Yes.
but it's extended because I remember he kicks him off the ramp. Maul gets onto the ramp with him, and it's either Qui-Gon or Obi-Wan kicks him off.
The cool thing is too, they don't reveal the double-bladed saber yet.
Well, yeah, but he holds it up. It's like, wait a minute,
Looks
why
like
is
long
that
as
hilt
fuck,
so
right?
big? You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll find out later.
That's another detail I found in the Plagueis book of my reread. When he uses Plagueis's lightsaber to go kill somebody, they mention his hand the being made for a Mune's hand, so he had to switch to a double-handed grip. I mean, that's like attention to
Yeah.
detail, right?
Right.
Oh, that's a great shot.
So
right
many,
there.
so many great shots of Naboo, the establishing shots.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every location they use on for the planet of Naboo, it just looks so cool.
Should have won all the
Take
awards.
him away.
Little bitch boy, go away.
Get the Falcon cameo, right? Or is that, yeah, you get it in this one too, right? When they first roll with Coruscant.
Yeah.
So you kind of, at this point, if you haven't figured it out yet, you're like, okay, this is really the queen. Because Natalie Portman was cast in the role. So
Yeah.
And the way she's playing the pronoun game here.
Mm-hmm.
Great trivia question there.
I think that's revealed in the Falcon's novel.
It is, yeah. It's like a shipping company, I think.
Yeah, it goes through like four owners before Han gets it, I think.
Those
Yep.
damn shippers. And this is epic. And this is just.
Oh yeah,
I-
different atmosphere in that time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
how
I don't
busy
wanna
it
sound
is,
like-
too.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but not as a Star Wars fan. Like I didn't really know much about the Coruscant and the capital where the Jedi have like a temple. And seeing
Right.
this, it was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They're not just like a hidden away random sort of sect of monks or anything. They're like in the mix of it.
Yep.
Mhm. Just imagine that city planet, like it has, like it goes down, like you don't even really see any of the original Earth of it.
Yeah, it's
Except
a
for-
lot like in Fifth Element, like when Blade Runner and all those sort of sci-fi
Yeah.
things. It's like, you only ever see like the tops of the skyscrapers. It's like these planets are so far advanced and everything. They've moved just completely away from the ground.
Yeah. And there's like instances of just like man-made like little mini oceans or lakes or whatever and all that
Yeah.
too, of course.
Yeah,
Kneel before Zod. Yeah, Terrence Stamp was a great choice for the Chancellor here because he's like, I think he did a good job of portraying like this false confidence because that's
Right.
what Valorum had. A couple of other things. The guards, the Coruscant guards. I like how the design is obviously indicative of the red guards to come later.
Mm-hmm.
Just the helmets and all that stuff are the same shape. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then just Ian McDiarmid here is amazing. Like the contrast between the Sith Lord and the Senator is just world class. It's what makes the entire prequel trilogy. If you're not a fan of Anakin's arc, well, look at Palpatine's. Just great character and just fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Darth Vader is like one of the most renowned villains, but like really Palpatine's arc is fucking insane, dude.
He's the puppeteer behind everything.
It's really good. And then his so yeah, he already has the red in the office, but yeah, you just see the conversion, like you said, not only the Senate guard garb to become the Imperial guard, but like just everything. And then his clothing starts changing throughout the 3 movies as well.
Yeah, I matched that color for the studio here. The name of
I was
going
to do that in my office.
It's actually blood is the name of the color.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
And then when you look at his artifacts, they're all like some sort of Sith artifacts that he has collected. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think his one of his lightsabers stashed in one of those statues, actually.
Yeah.
And later on, that's where Plagueis goes into one of the bigger urns.
Yeah. Well, he wanted Plagueis because it's in Plagueis' suite, right? So he wanted Plagueis' Dwardy, so he fucking swooped that shit up after he killed his ass.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
There's the temple.
Right.
Such great establishing shots. Every location,
Yes.
so grand.
And this right here, it's like, whoa, look at this circle of diverse Jedi. Just different species, and it's awesome.
It's still mostly the puppet Yoda.
Yeah.
I mean, in the theatrical version. I don't know if anyone's watching the remastered or whatever, you'll probably see the CGI Yoda, but back in the original version, that was the last use until the Disney of the old Yoda puppet.
Oh God,
Yeah.
that was awful.
I was a
And
little
I thought-
surprised. I was a little surprised at Samuel L. Jackson here. Everyone knew he was going to be in the film, but I didn't know if I'd be able to take him seriously. But he did a pretty good job of getting out of, I guess, the typecast of all the roles he had in his career up to that point.
Yeah.
Didn't drop any motherfuckers.
Yeah.
No
That-
motherfucking Sith out of my motherfucking temple.
Well, it probably helped that they totally changed his look for the film as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, from what he looked like, at that time. Now this is almost his look nowadays.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, and the council changes too throughout all the movies too, because the Jedi start falling. So it never has the same council each movie.
Fun fact here, but what's his name? The Conehead.
Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah.
Ki-Adi-Mundi, yeah. He was the only Jedi Knight on the council at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
He's not a master, yeah.
Yep.
He was also a polygamist. Legally.
Yeah, he had the council's blessing at that.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite Queen
Hey,
Amidala outfit.
That statue looks like, what's her name?
Who?
I'm so bad with names. Dooku's apprentice.
Depa Balaba.
No.
Oh, no,
No,
that's not Dooku.
Asajj Ventress?
Yeah.
Ventress.
This is so badass because you've always wondered with a million worlds in the Republic, how do they do the Senate? You know?
Right.
Yeah, and I love how the pods sort of jut out when someone has something to say. They sort of like,
Yeah,
they're
this
sitting
is
recessed
awesome.
back, and then they just sort of pop out like, "Bitch, what?"
They go head to head like they're boom, boom.
Yeah,
You know what vibes I get from this? I get Superman.
guilty.
Yeah, I get what is the director's name of those films?
Donna.
Yeah, Richard Donner, right? I get Richard Donner Krypton vibes from this Senate scene.
Yeah. Even like down to how the voices project.
Yes.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Well, it's like an arena, so it, and then the technology too for that.
That's an easy answer. It's Palpatine.
There's the Grand.
What about Senator Amidala or Senator Padme?
No.
Definitely not Valorum.
And this is like where the animators go crazy, and the amount of cameos they could have put in here. I mean,
Yeah.
everyone knows about the
Yeah,
ET
it's got
one.
ET. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could just go nuts and put so many different things in here.
That scene that they just showed, I really got like this Grima the Worm Tongue vibe there.
Oh, geez. How he whispered in her ear.
Yep. And just kind of controlling her from, behind the scenes. And
Right.
Yeah, and if you didn't know going into it and throughout the movie, this is where you really sort of get the indication that this guy's manipulating things
yeah.
further than you realize.
Yeah, and when you get into the EU, it gets more into Valorum and how she was manipulated to go against him and stuff too. So it's very interesting how the EU played that out and used it as to advantage of what was going on and how Valorum got killed after revealing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Cloak of Deception really sets him up for the fall.
Right. Mm-hmm. E.T.
I shall do what I must.
Mm-hmm. Look at that scene there. Look at sunset. Look at that.
Yep.
He's like, fuck authority.
Yeah.
The traffic.
Looks great.
So I think like him as Anakin's master would have been so much different. Like the way he would have handled Anakin, like sort of the rebellious Anakin growing up, because he's kind of very similar. Qui-Gon.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'd be great great Star Wars vistas to paint, especially
Right.
this Coruscant sunset.
And those who don't know, Coruscant is controlled. They control their atmosphere, everything, their environment. So everything is controlled.
Yeah, I just realized that when I did my last reread on play. I don't know if it's mentioned in other books, but yeah, I noticed it on my last reread. I'm like, oh shit, because they were saying for the meeting of the Senate, it was the first Senate speech that he gave. They wanted no clouds and this because they want to set the atmosphere for.
Yeah. That's how they liberated Coruscant in the X-Wing series.
Yep. The mirrors.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh shit.
Yep. So.
The penny drops. She's like, "Oh, we might win this."
This is where Plagueis meets his doom here soon.
A surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometime around here he goes and tries to meet up with Anakin, right? Plagueis.
Yeah.
And basically everything he told her was bullshit. Like he already figured out right here, and she.
Oh no, yeah, he wants her out of the picture. That's what's happening.
Yeah, but it's the same. Like, so when people are like, "I can't believe Anakin like fell for it," well, I mean, she did too. Really, I mean, pulled the same shit off.
He was a manipulator. My grandma had a geisha doll with the same type of hairstyle as Phantom Menace.
Nice.
Wonder how many hours it took him to do that.
Yeah, it's like
just imagine.
All she's doing is going from meeting to then like a hair appointment.
Yeah.
Meeting, hair appointment. Meeting, hair appointment.
Obi-Wan looked at him like, "You never fucking told me that."
Yeah. They should have sent a few more Jedi with them here.
Maybe a new little team.
Yeah.
If they sent as many as they did in Attack of the Clones, it would be sort of pretty quick.
Yeah. But then maybe he wouldn't have shown up, right?
Yeah. They're all the Jedi just hiding. Is he here yet?
Well, most of the Jedi are going to be outmatched, though, like dueling wise, right? Because I think only Dooku really was messing with saber to saber fighting styles. Most, like in this time, right? Weren't they all pretty much focused more on blaster repellent and stuff because there wasn't Sith around, so they weren't training as hard. Like,
yeah, it's true. Man, he put Obi-Wan in his place there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Plague is still alive right here because I remember he's checking this shit out and he fucking hates Qui-Gon for obvious reasons.
Like a lot of those Disney shows. I don't understand about midichlorians. I don't understand.
Yeah. Because they didn't have the time in training.
That looks fucking badass too.
Yeah.
The Nemoidians remind me of the Slee Stacks.
Yeah.
Or am I remembering them wrong because it was so long ago?
No, you're pretty close, but they are actually they're actually near Duros. You know the Duros.
Yeah, no, they definitely look like Duros for
so
sure.
kind of like they're near humans. They're near Duros. They're like an offshoot from tens of thousands of years before. And in fact, like the Marvel comics had like yellow Duros. They're supposed to kind of be like humans, where they were early starfarers, and then they had offshoots that evolved differently.
Yeah, I think they did some of the old Republic lore, I think, right? They it was the Duros and the humans that reverse engineered Rakatan technology to do hyperspace.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
This is where they got the stand-in for Obi-Wan, right? Wasn't there somebody, one of the scenes, it wasn't like Ewan McGregor, it was somebody else?
I think it was his, wasn't his stunt double? From what I recall, it was his stunt double, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Because they had to reshoot something and he wasn't available because of a movie or whatever. Yeah, see right there. I think that was actually it right there. No. I have to mark the timestamp, double check it. I know it's one of these forest scenes.
There's a lot of these scenes where they use different elements. Like George would desync, so actors had different timing and would move differently and interact in the scene, and but like slightly off center and stuff. There was a lot of digital work just being experimented with. But yeah, I can imagine some scenes stand-ins might have been used if ever, like people weren't available on location.
Yeah,
now, get around it. Everyone's on shot on a green screen, and it's just composited in later.
I got a question for you guys. When Naboo has a king, are the guards like not women and they're men?
I don't know.
I don't know. Just wondering.
I don't know. Maybe, but you would think that, I don't know. What would they call him though then? Like, because you have the handmaiden, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, where's the male handmaidens? That's sexist, huh?
That kind of, I was going to go somewhere, but I'm not going to do it.
That shit's cool. So that's like Mayan looking, right? Or Aztec, Mayan, right?
Yeah. It's ancient because a tree like grew over it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All such great miniature work and mixing it in.
Yeah. Kind of like Easter Island too, where you have the statues there too.
Okay, watch this here. See, like Qui-Gon is like, yeah, Obi-Wan, I've known the whole time, you know.
Yeah,
that's the look on his face. Because if you'll remember back to that scene on Mos and in Mos Espa, he says something. He makes a comment about the queen, whatever, and then he gives her this sly grin, like he knows that she's really the queen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the queen. Yeah, he's like, the queen isn't here.
Yeah, exactly. That's something along those lines. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, George does a good job of really elevating him as like just an impressive Jedi.
Yeah.
Oh, Qui-Gon's my favorite Jedi.
Motorboat.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
it's like-
this is it right here.
Mm.
See, that's where I was referencing Easter Island with their statues that were.
Mm.
Yeah. I think I saw that speeder at Celebration 2. I think they had it at the hotel at the convention center.
Wow.
I wish I had all the pictures from that. But my horror of an ex either has them all or destroyed them all.
Oh.
Probably the latter.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Us women can get vicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Panaka, one of the first Imperial moths.
Right. When was Parkin granted moth status? Do you remember?
I think it was before the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay. I was just asking because they were calling him Moff Tarkin already in that Bad Batch. So I seen a clip on that.
Yeah.
So I was like,
How old was Natalie? Like 16, 17?
Yeah. Wipe them out.
A scene like
All
that
of
would
them.
a scene like that would give you nightmares as an animator when you've got to match the floor to the movements as well.
Yeah.
Because apparently they had to go in and redo, basically repaint all the tile and patterns on the floors for a lot of those walking shots. That would have been something back then that would have given me nightmares.
Oh yeah.
it's fascinating to me, but maybe that's just the artist in me. I don't know. It's creating that motion and that realism and all that.
And to me, now this is like the kickoff of one of the greatest battle events in cinema history. To me, like how they cut between the four major sort of story points that are happening, and this battle sort of being the center point of it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it, it's nearly unrivaled. From now, the opening volleys to the end when Obi-Wan defeats Maul.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, it's just this almost like an opera of action.
Yeah, and Attack of the Clones, it doesn't, even like the Battle of Geonosis is badass and everything, but it doesn't flow like all that with the Dooku scene and the Yoda.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
It doesn't flow the same way this does at all.
Yeah, it's almost in stages. It's sort of one note at a time. Where this is it's all these different musical pieces coming together to make like a symphony of a scene.
Mm-hmm.
And getting that balance right is pretty difficult. I mean, like within those four main story events, you've got like sort of nearly 10 individual plot points playing out So to keep all that delicately balanced and playing out on screen in an exciting way, it's pretty spectacular, and it's a tough editing job.
Yeah, you see those Nymodians in the background without the headdress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys, but when I pilot, I like to have like a trench coat on, you know? Very World War One feeling there.
There you go.
Got it.
Got him.
It's such a cool design the Naboo fighters have as well.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
different to anything like you've sort of seen, not just in Star Wars, really, but in anything on screen.
Steady.
General Jar Jar.
Yeah.
This shit's cool as fuck right here too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
And they had the toys. I don't know if anyone had them. They had like the toys of these where they had actual loaders that came out. I don't think the droid separated. I think they just sort of came out and you could see them, but the fronts opened up, and you sort of got like the process. You could sort of set up like a whole battle.
That's badass.
Yeah. It's very cool, this idea of like a portable army that you can just deploy and set up.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Attack of the Clones, when they brought in the clone armies, they were kind of stacked in there similar to these droids too. So it's worth to go watch that and see how they too are basically, even the
just
organic.
the next evolution. Yeah.
Yep.
They can think and move a little bit better, but we'll still control them.
Right. And fuck the chip. That's all I can say.
And I love that concept as well. Like they use the same shields as they do to keep the water out of their environment under in their cities, and it'll stop large kinetic blasts and things coming at high velocities, but you can just
very durable.
walk your way through it.
Oh,
there it is.
And this
There we go, you guys. It's on.
badass moment.
It's on.
XR Coon callback.
Yeah.
Started the great song. This is when
I wonder if he's a Sith Lord.
Yeah. This is when the sequence really ramps up. You've got the droid Dakar's back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like now it's the splitting of the main story here.
Right.
And then this battle, like a lot of people, I can imagine. I really do love it. The Revenge of the Sith battle as well. But to me, this is the best battle in Star Wars.
Well, I mean, you got a trained martial artist and then two dudes that did how much practicing. I'm sure he probably coached them up as well.
Yeah, and Liam Neeson had like at least 4 movies, I think, before this with sword experience. So
yeah, you've
got people who know what they're doing, and then Ray Park, who's incredibly athletically gifted, that can do a lot of the things he was doing, and that matters more than I think. People talk about the choreography and stuff, but it's what the actual person can physically do matters so much more.
Well, that's even proven, like when Anakin or when Hayden was in Ahsoka, and how he outperformed everybody in the duel scenes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
just having that muscle memory.
Mm-hmm.
Shit's fucking cool.
And this double bladed is another reference back to the EU as well. So
Yep.
I love how they mix it up too. He's got the shows off the force powers interacting with the environment as they go through.
mm-hmm.
And they don't just lightsaber, like he's doing fucking kicks and Qui-Gon, like they fucking punch each other a couple times. Like there's all kinds of shit going on. Cool. Definitely different than the OT.
Oh yeah, and not just that, different
Mm-hmm.
to like what is now. It was so different to what came before it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because I'd seen the Star Wars movies, but seeing a lightsaber fight like this, I was completely blown away.
Yeah. We're supposed to see like
Ain't got time for that.
OT. Yeah. People always refer back to this Anakin scene as, oh, he is the Gary Stew or Mary Stew. That's one thing.
The autopilots think Harry Sue.
Yeah.
Carrie Stew. It's carrying the stew.
All he did was stay where he was supposed to, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then press a couple of buttons to shoot a missile. If anyone's the Gary Sue, it's Jar Jar there.
Yeah.
Just killing everyone. There's John Knowles' cameo where he gets blown up.
Mm-hmm.
Man, what a great looking scene where it's just the radar dish blowing up and.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there was great space battles in the Star Wars movies before, but to me, this amped it up a notch. And then Revenge of the Sith takes it up a notch again in the opening.
Yeah.
But to me, this is really
Oh,
great.
that is my absolute favorite one.
But even like the turrets, like on this Trade Federation ship, look like the turrets from like the Trench Run too. Like they made them somewhat similar. Like they're different, but they have that feel, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same note but different.
That's a good trick.
Oh yeah, the memes in this movie live on forever, as well as the movie, because it's it's just like memeable. It's so quotable as well.
It's so unforgettable.
Yeah, exactly. Like even little things like with this scene here where they had to fix the person propelling up. One of the guys was way too slow, so they had to digitally increase the speed. There's little things like that they wouldn't have been able to do.
Yeah, and they're actually dropping, and it's in reverse.
No, they're going up.
No, it's in reverse.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. You can kind of tell too.
Yeah, but the just little things like that in the old movies that they wouldn't be able to change. So in a bad way, this is kind of like the era where cheating in filmmaking really took off. I mean, everything's a cheat already, but
backhand to the face.
Yeah,
he just kicked his ass in the face. This shit's just great.
Yeah, they mixed it up. It's just like, I want to actually hurt you as well.
And then, like lore-wise, they're moving as fast as we saw the Jedi moving in the beginning of the movie, like in real time.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan just could have picked up the pace a little bit with the running.
Someone tried to say the Battle of Fates or whatever was the worst, and they try to clip it and they did like a stop motion back and forth to show how bad this battle is, or this duel
Red
is.
Letter Media or something.
Yeah.
No. To me, this is
peak.
I know George says it a lot, but this is poetry.
Yeah.
And the music too. Like, who would have thought like Imperial March or like any of the original Star Wars songs would be like even competed with, right? And this song, just, they troll people to get them to watch Disney shit, because the song's so fucking powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole intercutting between the space battle, the Gungans, the Padme and her crew taking the throne room, and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon versus Darth Maul, intercutting that all, and then having Duel of the Fates. It's just, it makes everything heightened. Like if you had like a different song that wasn't as good, the scene wouldn't work as well. Duel of the Fates makes it so much better.
And like you said, the sound design too, because it's just all the effects,
Oh, yeah.
all that stuff. Yeah.
Come on, General, quit losing yourself here. Use it to booma.
They did such a good job with the tanks. Like just looking at the metal and like the texture and the scorch marks on the tanks. It's so realistic.
Well, George loved those details. He's always talked about that.
Even like how the paint scraped away.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, things like this where these things would have to interact with the floor. They would have given me nightmares back then with how difficult like separating individual things were. That would have kept me up for weeks.
It's still bothering you.
Well, yeah, now it's so much easier, but back then, especially when they're creating a lot of these techniques, that would have just been, the animators would have just kept saying, George, please tilt the camera up just a little bit for some shots so you don't see the floor.
Archie's like, what the fuck?
I mean, R2's like the real hero of the whole real saga, 1 to 6.
See, conceptually, they show inside the cockpit though, where it's similar to the way that he configured his pod racer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think people miss that too because they're like, oh, he just knows how to do everything, blah, 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 blah. They already set up that he knows how to handle the controls and what he's looking for.
Yeah. And it is even the shape of the cockpit, it's all very similar.
Man, what great drama there is here with Obi-Wan like being forced to watch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having
This is back
stakes
when
and a lightsaber. Yeah.
Mhm.
Having stakes. So when a lightsaber actually damages you, it's life threatening in a way that you may not recover from.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not just a superficial wound. Some scorch marks on your clothes.
Listen, I get sad again. No, Qui-Gon. No. Everybody's all getting sad in there now.
Yeah, it was that was tragic.
Mm-hmm.
Because you
had a tear in your
theme.
eye. You know you had to wipe your eyes a little and stuff.
The theme of the movies are the you know, like the Jedi, the old, like in A New Hope, Ben Kenobi dies, and you know, like the old masterful sort of Jedi of the movie probably doesn't have a long shelf life in the series.
Right.
Right.
He sets up the all three to, you know, come together for the next two. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's sort of like the fulcrum of everything, but he's not going to be there to keep it together. Now the deception finally pays off. All those years of swapping those costumes.
Mm-hmm.
All those trips to the hairstylist finally paid off.
He's such like a predator right here, like how he walks back and forth and stuff.
I love it.
The
Yeah,
Sith robes are fucking great too.
Mm-hmm.
And like how amped Obi-Wan is, like to get through that. He's sort of like jumping on the spot, and then he gets to him, and it just erupts.
I love how there's like that.
Like what?
I love how there's like that brief pause, kind of like in wrestling when they do that and wait for the pop, you know, after that initial exchange.
Yeah.
I was going to do a compare thing here, but look at Maul's attire. And then when you finally get to see Anakin as, a 19-year-old, he's kind of similar dressed in a sense with the colors. And even though they're Jedi robes.
Mm.
Yeah, if you just look at that, like the similarities and stuff and what the meaning is, like even with like the garb that George has, like even Luke and Anakin wear, it's really revealing, in their arcs. From going dark and light and stuff, yeah.
Oh yeah, the costume design in all of the movies is very underrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sort of blends in, and you think that's it's more form than function, or more function than form, but
yeah,
a lot of it has a lot of meaning as well.
Funny, isn't this explosion in the trailer? This?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They're like, what the hell's going on?
Yep, there's that connection. Huh.
Yeah.
This is almost too like the second Death Star when they're coming out of their wedge in them.
Yeah, like growing up, a lot of the people would say that this was just ripping off A New Hope, and I'm like, no, this is mirroring Return of the Jedi more than anything, because you've got this is like the Ewok battle, and then you're cutting back to the Death Star, and the when the other ships show up to attack. And now the battle with the most stakes just happens to be the individual one. Because if Obi-Wan dies, Maul's getting out of there and he's killing everyone that just got in.
Right.
He's going to the throne room. He's going to kill Padme. He's going to he's going to wreck everything. And then
permanently dead.
Yes.
Right. And this is where Qui-Gon or where Obi-Wan really didn't have the high ground, but he won by not having the high ground.
Yep.
Yeah, if there's one like, if I was previsiting that scene for George and he came to me and says, how would you do it? I would have had Obi-Wan have the lightsaber in his hand as he's jumping upwards, and he does the cut before he jumps over.
Mm-hmm.
Like he does it in the arc.
On the way up. Yeah.
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 It's kind of a callback to Empire, right? When Luke jumps out of the fucking carbonite chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just adds a little bit more believability, because you've just seen Maul with such good reflexes and everything. He doesn't have time to block
and then he's startled and
just
doesn't
jumped
do
over
anything.
him.
Yeah.
And then it could have almost been like a future reference to when Obi-Wan does have the high ground. He's like, I know what to do if someone's jumping from below me. Trust me.
Right. Because you learn that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like how Qui-Gon, on his dying breath, wanted the training to go forward, not just to prove he was right, but because he really believed in the prophecy.
Yeah.
And he believes in the kid. He wants like the best for Anakin.
Yeah. So that was good.
There was no ego in there.
Another high meme quality here.
Oh, that shit-eating grin.
Oh yeah.
We all watch your career with great interest.
That's why I shared that when I retweeted that we're going to go live on this and do this watch party. I love that part.
Yeah, because people who would be seeing this as their first Star Wars experience, they wouldn't really know what that line mean. But as it progresses, that's a huge meeting point.
I think he does a good job, distinguishing the two personas too. Like, definitely, if you're a normie, I could see how you didn't catch it.
Yeah, there's only the start. It doesn't really give it away, but it's when he starts to get in Padme's ear that you really realize something's up.
Mm-hmm.
Furniture in that room by IO Metro.
I was going to say not IKEA.
IKEA $850 a chair.
Damn.
I'm just
George
making
is
that
like
up.
George is probably like, I'll just take these home with me afterwards.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're in his library.
That's his
At
TV
Skywalker.
chair now. He eats his TV dinners and drools over Matlock now watching it. Another mirror back to Jedi.
Yeah.
So does the novel talk about him like taking pride in watching Qui-Gon burned? Or
No, it's
Palpatine?
not written from his perspective.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
But great imagery here
Right.
Mhm.
with the profile shot of Palpatine.
And depending what version you're watching, if you're watching the original theatrical version, a great puppet performance with Yoda.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, I can see why they had to change it up for Attack of the Clones with what they needed Yoda to do, but that practical work with the puppet was
Yeah.
really they'd really refined it by that point in time.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then Disney really fucked it up after that.
Yeah.
It's so awful.
Well,
Look
it's
at
like
this
they had the idea of wanting to go back to using the puppetry and stuff, but a lot of those people aren't, like, CGI took them out of work, took them out of business almost. So a lot of those people aren't around anymore.
Right.
So the music on this is the same. I'm not a music expert, but right, isn't it the same as the throne room music? But it's like sped up or something, and then they use like children's voices instead of the ominous other voices.
I don't know. I'm not
I
really
didn't
sure
think
on
about
that.
it. I never really.
Instead of da na na, it's da 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 da, but it's the same, like whatever. I remember seeing something on it. I don't know if it's
I
correct
have to
or not.
look into that now. That's
I'm not a
interesting.
music person, but
Yeah.
that is what I heard.
Boss Nass gets the Energon sphere. He can start his own Optimus Prime.
Got a fucking haircut. He's already got a braid too. How'd they pull that
Yeah.
off?
Hair extensions. That
Right. I was gonna say he got the hair
Yeah.
extensions going
Yeah.
on.
Well, I mean, Padme's got her own live-in hairstylist, obviously. So she's probably just like, this, you know, he needs a braid. Sure, we'll give him a braid.
Yeah, he needs his Padawan braid now. He's
Yeah.
a Padawan.
Let me fix you up. We've got to get to the parade. He needs a braid.
Go see
Poetry, it
my
rhymes.
stylist.
Yeah.
So did George do that too to like reference Leia, right? Because for all the different hairstyles and all that, and Leia with the buns. With
Costume
Padme.
designer Trisha Biggar. So yeah, show that.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Waiting for
Probably.
the starring line here. I want to see. I can't remember who they have.
Ben Burt, sound design. You're right. Yeah. Nice.
Starring. Yeah,
Liam Neeson, top
first.
billing.
Yeah, he's top billing.
Mhm. Yep.
Because he
You
was
want
the
my
most
favorite?
experienced actor
Oh, yeah.
in it at that point.
And Ewan
And he
McGregor,
was
I only
the
knew him
one
from like
who-
Train Spotting or something like that. I don't remember in many other.
Yeah,
movies.
that's what made his career. Yeah.
Yeah, really. And then this.
Co-starring Ian McDiarmid. Get the hell out of town.
Yeah, and
He should have been with
If
them
that's the
top.
case, he should have
Yeah.
got best supporting actor then, right?
and Terrence Stamp's the one that gets his actual character name as well. With, I always find that fascinating, like how agents negotiate all those things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the best one was at the Avengers Endgame at the end of that, because they had so many like with and guest star and like special thanks to and all these things.
Yeah.
It's like the agents just want to get their client more prestige in the film.
Yeah.
Hold on, we got to find out who the editor is because they're usually the most important.
I
Sure,
think
well-
Ben Bird did some of the editing. He's also
Yeah.
he became an editor too. I think he's the one that kind of pioneered the use of Edit Droid when they first
Sure wasn't
invented it.
Marshka.
I know.
He was
Sam.
yeah.
So he's the one who saved the movie then?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I think I can't remember the actual guy's name, but yeah, a lot of the stuff Ben Burt was doing was where George was trying to separate different elements in the scene and stuff, and Ben Burt was helping him do a lot of that. Not just the sound editing and sound design.
I forgot to mention at the end there in the throne room scene, whatever it is, the award ceremony.
Oh yeah, on the step. Yeah.
Depa Bilaba looks really bangable in that scene.
Well, she dies. She's the one that she dies, and then Obi-Wan resumes in her seat on the council. When
Yes. Yes. She died because I banged her too hard.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I read that AU story.
You went to the wrong website.
Yeah. Well, Tim, if you have your shit out there, then someone's gonna find it.
Yeah, exactly.
Masterpiece, absolute masterpiece.
Yep.
I saw this 3 times in the cinema.
I don't even know.
I remember the first one. I remember the first time I saw it. I walked the whole way home just thinking about that movie. Just going, what the? That it was amazing. I need to see it again.
So I was like 19 or 20 when this came out, right? Yeah. But,
I was 13, just a couple of months into being 13.
I was 23.
I was old enough to see it. No.
I got, like I said, I got those posters from Star Tours I went on, and fucking I got the like a light side and dark side. They're fucking, I have them framed in my office. Well, they're down right now.
Nice.
But they're so sick, man. There was no hatred for this movie at all, dude. I didn't hear people talking shit in any of my circles, friends, family. I don't recall any of the fucking bullshit revisionist shit you hear from people.
Neither have I, other than media saying there's like a few articles here and there.
I remember those. Yeah.
Before it came
I remember
out.
the friends I saw it with, like they weren't Star Wars fans either the first time. They really enjoyed it, and then I think the second and third time, I think I just went by myself because I just wanted to see it like as soon as possible. So I think I went the next day, and then a couple of days after that. But I didn't really have any people have negative opinions of it until you'd start to see stuff online years later.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that special effects crew fueled by some guy from Jabba the Hutt? Yeah, because all these coffee houses and shit that are all over the country now, they were really big on the West Coast even then, really coming out of Seattle.
Yeah.
But we had a couple in Stockton around town. There were no Starbucks, but they were like, people had been to Seattle and said, oh, I need to come up with something like that, and they'd name it something else. Like the big one was like Safari. It was just like a Starbucks, except it wasn't Starbucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny how now it's all over the damn country.
Oh, the world.
You can go anywhere and there's a Starbucks now.
There's usually like 4 or 5 blocks from each other too.
Yeah.
It's one about 5-10 minutes from me.
Do you hear that? Do you hear that hint of the dark side theme there?
Yeah. Del Rey's credit on here too. Did you see that?
Yep.
So because they pulled some info from the EU.
Because George hated the EU.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's what the bots say anyway.
Mm-hmm, that's what they do. But man, this is like, it's so great every time you watch it. It's like, it's not tiring,
No, I think it's one of the more rewatchable of the Star Wars movies to me. I mean, it's not just my favorite one. I really like A New Hope as well. But to me, Phantom Menace is really rewatchable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah. It has great moments. And it's not just one or two. It sort of does a great job of peppering them throughout the whole runtime. And especially that, I've already spoken about it enough, but that finale sort of sequence, the end battle is like you work your way up to that, and it's well worth the wait.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you not like enjoy the pod racing? Like, I don't understand how any
That's
like
one of my
sane
favorites.
person would not like the pod racing. That's a
Mhm.
great fucking addition to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it makes me think about like if we could ever have seen like Luke racing in his Skyhopper, or even like the scene that I talked about in Shadows of the Empire, where he's in that he's running from Jabba Hutt's goons, and stuff. So just imagine having a scene like that too. It's just
Being able to do something back then like that.
yeah, and see a little bit more of the crime syndicate, ruled by the Hutts and stuff on Tatooine and stuff, and getting into lore that way too. Like, the Underworld's supposed to cover that, but that was just too big of a budget and time for George to even do. So
Yeah, good point.
Speaking of Shadows,
Soul
did you
Assassin.
guys- oh, sorry. Go for
Well,
it.
it all depends, Soul Assassin, if there's interest, and it's almost like, do we wait for the anniversaries? We'd have to wait 3 years for Attack of the Clones, right? So, what were you gonna say, Justin?
Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know if you guys have seen anything on that fan Shadows of the Empire. What was it? Star Wars Fanimations or something like that. I was subscribed to them. Have you guys seen the trailer for that? Like a fan made Shadows of the Empire. There was some update they were doing on it, but I was prepping for other stuff, so I actually didn't get to check it out. But I think they did an update. But yeah, it looks pretty badass, dude. It's like all fan.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a quote tweet a couple of weeks ago where someone said, "Oh, Star Wars animation is the best," and they had all the Disney stuff. So I quote tweeted it, and I said the same thing, but I had like droids, Ewoks, I had Tartakovsky, and then I had this animation they used for a toy commercial for Shadows of the Empire toys. And this one guy's replying like, "Where is that from? Where is that from?" And I never answered just to be a dick. But yeah, they did make some animation of like Prince Shizor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
For the toys, and it was pretty cool. So yeah, that sounds like an interesting project for sure.
Yeah.
The first multimedia project, right?
Yeah. There's a whole fucking book on it, Secrets of Shadows of the Empire.
I have that book.
it. I don't have it anymore. I need to
I
get
have it, and it talks about like the canon, like this is addition to the canon, so like you can reference a lot of that in there, regarding like the canonicity of the EU and what's going on there, and also them meeting at Skywalker Ranch with George to create this multimedia project.
Right.
So there's a lot of that, and then George using everything, like not everything, but like scenes and like spaceships and stuff like that for the special edition. So there's a lot of like the synergy going on between that and even the special editions of the OT. So it's pretty amazing to have. If you guys haven't got that, I would highly recommend it.
Agreed.
Yeah, what happened?
Oh no, so Melissa agreed. The game was very fun. The book's good, and the game was fun.
Oh yeah, and there's a soundtrack and toys and just comics and everything. I have the Hildebrandt Brothers art, some of it on the wall here in the studio. I want to get the rest of it because you know who those guys are, right? The brothers Hildebrandt. They did all that Lord of the Rings artwork and all that stuff. They're amazing painters. I wish they'd done more Star Wars, to be honest. I think they did like some Boba Fett stuff and whatever else, but mainly they did all that Shadows of the Empire work to kind of fill out the multimedia project. But we did this stream, guys, so that you could have fun, with people that also like Star Wars and avoid giving Hollywood and Disney Lucasfilm money and just preventing the encouragement, right, of doing more of this, because next it'll be Attack of the Clones and Return of the Jedi and whatever else. Let's bring it back to the theater, and Empire Strikes Back and Star Wars. You know, we're coming up in a few years here on the 50th anniversary, which makes me feel really old. And all they're doing there is keeping themselves in the black so that they can continue to just outlive us, who are getting older and older, and then all these weirdos that are getting replied to by the official Star Wars account on X. They'll eventually take over as the fans of stuff branded as Star Wars, not fans of Star Wars. So they're trying to outlive us. Just go down fighting. You don't need to go to the theater to see this. I think we had just as much fun tonight as anything else. I'm sitting here at my desk, and I've got a 32-inch monitor. Actually, it's a 40-inch over here, and that's what I watched it on, and I'm talking to you guys in the chat. This is more fun than going to the theater and just getting ripped off, period.
I watched it on my phone, but I'm here. So, I mean, so it doesn't matter the size of the device or the screen. It's all about
There we go.
It's what you do with it, yeah.
Yeah, it's what you do with it and how you enjoy it, right?
I watched it on a 60-inch. You had to go big.
Go big or go home.
The other end of the studio, I have a 65-inch television, but it would have been kind of awkward to I'd have to change my microphone setup, and I just didn't have time today. But I do have a 40-inch monitor here that's nice to have.
Yeah, it's a nice size monitor. And just think, everybody, nobody's got to watch the Acolyte trailer now either, because they're shoving that right in front of that.
Or whatever they're trying to shove in there. It's going to probably be more than just the
exactly.
trailer.
Yeah, I think it's like a 10
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. So, there will be people saying that we're toxic and all that for having these opinions, but no, I myself pledged a long time ago that I'm not going to give money to Hollywood, and I haven't. So, just the
especially
way
if you spent so many years
yeah.
talking about how much you hate them, how much they hate you, to just turn around and line up with your ticket money. It says, I think, more about the people doing it than it does about the people.
Yeah, and I have so many fucking movies in the attic here and on the shelf here that I could just watch shit forever. And the stuff all the movies I've never seen. Like, what about all those movies too? There's so much stuff to watch.
I love rewatching shit too, dude. I rewatch shit all the time. I reread shit, re-listen to shit. There's nothing wrong with that.
Alternative factory is never ending.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish we could do a stream on that and get, 200 viewers and all that, and we could do it all the time. But it's really hard to get, to become a retro nostalgia content creator, because there's so many of them out there, right? It's really hard to get in there. There's got to be a way, but I'm trying to do many different things, and it's hard to focus just on one. So, speaking of which, I'm, talking to the artists on the creative project. Gonna try and get something going there pretty quick, hopefully. Gonna have to put up some money up front, because I was talking to some guys about what are some ideas, and it's kind of an idea I already had, and it was get some images out there to talk around and to generate interest and all that. So that's kind of what my next step is. So,
all right, Tim, if these men approach you and ask you to make a mold, just think of that as a warning sign.
Make a mold. Hey, here's the thing, though. This one guy that I'm still Facebook friends with, I met him 30 years ago. He and I were dating these two sisters, and he taught me the concept of a cock candle that you give to your girlfriend. So you take a piece of foil, right? And you create a mold. Then you melt a candle and you pour it in there. Let the candle wax dry, and then that's kind of her gift. And I thought that was brilliant. So,
what have I done? What have I started?
I don't know. Oh, you're regretting that. I can tell.
Hey, you brought it up. And here's something else.
Nothing
Like,
ventured, nothing gained.
here's something else. Alora, is this what it looks like when your entire family shoots at the same time?
Uh-oh. We did not go that route. Well, yes, because we were perfect aims. So yeah.
Pale-faced woman deserve arrow. All at the same time. I saw that and I'm like, what the hell is this outfit?
Though? Who would want to? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the chick that's in Furiosa. So,
Oh, okay.
and that's actually in Sydney, the premiere. So,
Yeah, they actually did a couple of the scenes. Or I don't know how many of the scenes they did. Some of the shooting at one of the parks near where I live.
nice.
I think for some of the pickup shots. And yeah, the new Mad Max stuff. I don't. The more I hear about where they're going with that, the less it's. I mean, the last one, the Furiosa one, and the Mad Max Fury Road, that was bad enough. But where they're going now, that just seems completely redundant.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of those films. I've tried to get into them, but I don't know. Just not a fan. I like the concept. I like the premise. I think it's pretty cool, but I just never was able to say, "Wow, I'm a fan of those." So,
As an
Yeah,
Australian,
same.
you have to.
yeah, I know you are.
It's
Blake.
by law. You're born, and if you're not a Mad Max fan, you get deported back to England.
I think I was more of like a Red Dawn fan back in that time, right? Because those came out at
man,
the same time, right?
Yes.
Red Dawn and Mad Max.
Mhm.
Red Dawn's awesome. They should have had multiple movies or a book series or something like What Happens Afterward.
Not just a remake.
Yeah. Oh, that was awful. And you know the history there, right? Where it was China and they actually spent time on CGI changing it to North Korea because they didn't want to piss off the Chi-Coms.
Oh god,
Yeah.
Sounds right.
That's why the movie was delayed like a year, because all the flags and everything else, they actually took the time to touch them up and change the flag to North Korea. I couldn't believe it when I heard about that.
Yeah.
What? Get into that candle mold. Well, hey, it's a good gift. Highly recommend it for any holiday. So
Well,
what's
he's
the next
like-
one? Mother's Day's coming up. That's probably not a good holiday for that. So, all right, guys, we got to wrap it up. It's actually 12:30 Central, so
Yeah.
got a big
10:32
day
here.
tomorrow. And plus, guess what else? I gotta set up the spacing. Hasn't been done yet.
Big day exposing shills.
Oh yeah,
Exposing
Exposing hopium slingers. Yep.
Mhm. Like that Eckhart
Sling
ladder.
it. But yeah, thank you, Justin. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Alora from the hotel lobby,
Yes.
internet cafe, whatever it's called. So
Well, I'm in their business center, but they don't have a door, so it's open door. Like so.
gotcha. They have an open door policy.
Yeah, open door policy.
All right, guys. Yep. Chat, thanks for being here. Let's check the dashboard. Okay, we're good there. And thanks again to Melissa and All Around Arbiter for the tips. Appreciate it. And we'll see you guys about 22 hours from now on the spacing. Have a wonderful night. See ya.